clean it off.
There we go.
Okay,
1.4.
excuse me, Mr. Mark, excuse me, thank you.
I'd like the sergeant of arms to take care of him.
I don't think we need to do that at this time. Okay, let's call to order the work session. Obviously, I'm not Linda, she couldn't make it tonight, so I'm filling in as per the duties of the vice president. So let's start with the roll call. Kramer, not here. Ferguson,
Here.
Kuntz, here. Harris, not here. Service,
Here.
okay. I'd like to thank everybody else for coming. And let's see, call for changes. So review of current agenda items. We just have two things on there. The vendor permits and going over the water worth models for the, I believe it's the water side. Do you have any,
Yeah, I would like to add a couple things.
couple things?
There was, I understand there was a phone conference on TIF 2 earlier this week or
Last week.
last week. If you wouldn't mind, Anthony, if you could give us a quick update on that. If you have information to share, anything new on TIF 2?
With the Prestons?
Yeah.
I don't think that ever happened, right? Because
We just
John
had,
wanted
we
to-
just had our.
We just had our
before.
internal one.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know if there's anything to share from that. We're putting on, we're just going over agenda items, right?
Yeah, so right now Neil's discussing it with PEER, the state equalization. So, with the tax, is it?
Yeah, and I talked to him today, and he had
Yeah.
talked to Department of Revenue.
Department of Revenue, that's right, DOR. And so where it's at is, he wanted to explain to the Prestons like how, you know, what basically what their obligations are within the developer agreement. And so that's what that meeting was proposing to do and have some times. But basically John Preston said, because he understands a little bit more of it, he wants to basically get it a little bit farther and then he'll present it to his siblings. Is that right, Terry? Sounds about right. He was kind of spearheading it.
So
Okay.
we don't really have any updates then?
No, it's still like
Okay.
in the progress of.
Yeah, I just
All right,
want to,
thank you.
stay ahead of the game on that.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that's
And
good.
I want to have a hopefully not too long discussion to revisit the media policy. So I just a couple concerns about that. I'd like to. I mean, I kind of wish Linda and Shannon were here for it, but
Okay,
just to touch base on that a little bit because it's been a while since it was pushed through. I just like
Is
to
it
chat
on
about
that
it.
sheet
Yeah,
right
I
there?
printed. Terry got me copies of it a couple hours ago, but.
okay, would you
Nope.
like to make a motion?
Yeah, so I'll make a motion to add, I mean, we don't have a section for it.
Discussion. That was
To add-
everything's under that.
Add discussion for the, discussion of the town of Hermosa media policy.
Okay. You don't want a second it? All right. Yeah, I'm kinda with her on this one,
I think we should leave it for a board meeting.
yeah.
All right, well,
So-
yeah,
Being says, these are the two things that are supposed to be in the work session. That's kind of, that's not really in a work session, is it, item?
I don't know. Anyways, Dan, did you have a,
Yeah, just a comment for you. When it's a work session, you don't make any motions, of course. And if you want to add discussions, you can add discussions. If the rest
Oh,
of the
really?
members agree
Yeah.
it's okay and they want to, you can. But
what, so we don't do a motion to accept the agenda as presented
No,
amended?
not in a work session. All it is
Okay.
an open forum. You guys have got your guide for what you can do and you move ahead with it.
All right, sounds good.
so we
Well,
can just,
I'll tell you what,
Discuss.
me and you can talk about it after
Well-
the meeting, and then we can see what we need to do in the next meeting.
well, it's kind of like, next meeting, I'm gonna probably be making a motion, so,
Yeah. Okay,
I
well,
just wanna have everybody have the next week to think about it a little bit more. But, yeah, just,
Okay.
it won't be long,
we can send the email out too.
yeah.
Anyways, all right, well, let's go on to work session item A, or conflict of interest declaration, I mean, we're not gonna be doing any deciding or anything tonight, so, but if there is any conflict of interest, then just let us know, I guess, or bow out, so anyways, work session items. Item A, vendor permits, so we have, some, how the
Do you guys
permits.
wanna do the water thing first, so Terry and Anthony can get out of here? Cause I only live 3 minutes away. I mean, that's up to you guys.
I'm okay with that, if you guys wanna jump around. You okay with that, Donna?
Yeah,
Alright,
I only have a block away.
alright,
Anthony, are
let's,
you in a rush to get out of here?
Yeah, a little bit. I gotta go to Nebraska tomorrow, but,
yeah,
I wanted to get it done, finished here, I'm just tweaking it.
So you still need time?
No, I'll be ready, if you're ready.
okay, well, let's jump to that then, and then they can leave while we talk vendor permits. So, I don't know that we have anything in the packet on Waterworth.
We don't.
Basically, for anybody who's not aware, this is the software that we purchased, I think it's a subscription. And this allows us to model both our water and our sewer as far as the financials go. And so, this is what we use to determine what our sewer, not the surcharges, but the rate increases would be and things like that. And then, I guess it also does surcharges too. And so, but I believe tonight we're just gonna be talking about the water side, and we're gonna look at the different scenarios and kinda how the financials, will work over time, as you can see up here. So I'll just let Anthony, take the floor, and then,
Yep. So we ran 4 scenarios. We ran a scenario 1 of doing the state revolving fund drinking water loan, which is a 1.6% interest loan, and doing a Madison well with it. So we wouldn't drill at the end of 3rd Street. We would still do a small WRT at the top of the hill. We'd still do all our other functions of the drinking water loan, such as booster pumps, separating the pressure zones into 2, repairing the floor of the 1 tank, and then drilling a Madison well. And ideal location would be next to our north tank, that would fill our north tank. That way, if we did have some temperature, it would cool off prior to entering our system. So when we do that, we look at, that's this scenario here. The second scenario is doing the well on the end of 3rd Street. What that would do though is it would probably then replace, or we would have a 3rd permit. We keep that permit for the well on top of the hill that gives us 60 GPMs. We'd have the one that we currently have doing 100 at Battle Creek, and then this one at the end of 3rd, we would have an additional 150. So we'd have the same gallons per minute, but they'd all be in the same aquifer, the Indian Cara. And so we would have to make sure that we have a bigger WRT to handle that much volume of water. So that's in here. We budgeted for that. That would all be done out of the gate, right? So we would do that well within that drinking water loan of 1.6%. So that's this scenario. Scenario 3 is to do the drinking water loan, everything but the wells, and everything but the well option. But we'd write the water rights permit for a Madison well. If we do that, then we would wait. We'd have 5 years from now to drill that Madison well. Of course, the issues are the Madison well is more expensive in 5 years, because if we look at 5 years ago what they cost and what they cost today, we projected out what the cost would be, and we had the well driller here in the office to give us a projection of what that would be based on the last 5 years' price increases. And then our percent of interest, it would be outside of the drinking water loans 1.6%, it would be 5%, because it would be potentially just a loan on the free market, right? Like we did the the treatment plant, right? So that's what we ran in this scenario. And then the last scenario is doing the well on the end of 3rd Street in Indian Cara, writing the well permit, rights permit for that, and doing that one in 5 years. So then we've increased it by a similar margin for price increases to drill it, and then we are using a loan of 5% for that. So those are the 4 scenarios that we ran. So looking at each one, again, start with, we'll just start with 4 and work our way back to 1. So the black line obviously is our cash position. So what we've done here is we've looked at rates and we've looked at surcharges to see how do we keep this in a reasonable area, not going too high, but staying kind of in our threshold position. So this is kind of what it's pretty close. You can tweak it a little bit more to get it in there. But here's the borrowing scenarios. And so we're looking at these 2 scenarios. So at the cost of 1.345 million at 6.5%, 1.65%, I mean, is about $57,203 a month. That's the amortization. So that's the payment, right? So our surcharge would need to cover that payment. And then the one in 5 years, so 5 years later, that's $790,000 for an Indian Cara well. At 5% would give us this payment, and that would start 5 years off. When we look at revenues to see the what that means, so we have to carry $58,000 here for the drinking water loan, and then we have to carry $52,000 here for the surcharge for the Indian Cara well. So that equates at 295 customers, assuming we don't have any increase in customers, right? That would equate to $16 per month for the drinking water loan. That would be now, and then in 5 years, $15 per month to carry that Indian Cara well.
So they're the same, Anthony?
They're close because of the interest rate. So
At 1.5 versus 5, correct? Isn't that what you said? You're having 5% on the 5 year and 1.5?
yeah, 1.65. Yeah.
Or 1.65, I'm sorry.
Yep. Yeah, that's the 2 different interest rates doing that. So now let's look at. Has anyone any questions, or should I go to the next scenario?
Any other questions? No.
Thank you.
And that's here we're spending that 790, 2030, spending that 1.345 in 2025. So now we go to the next scenario, which is scenario 3. This is the let's start with the borrowing scenarios. This is the doing the drinking water loan, so that's always the same activities. So 1.345 at 1.65%, and then doing a Madison well, and a Madison well in 5 years, according to Keller Drilling, would be 1.1 million at 5%. So the cost of that Madison well in 5 years is costing $71,557 a month as a payment. And when we look at that from the revenue perspective, what that is 7557. Yeah, just making sure.
This is scenario 3.
This is scenario 3. So doing a Madison well in 5 years. Yeah, so I'm carrying those, and so yeah, 75,000 divided by 295 divided by 12. Yep. So that would equate to $16 a month for the DWSRF, and then $21 a month if we wait 5 years on the Madison well, with the same cut number of customers, right?
The same number that we
5%
have now.
at the pump.
Yeah. So that's not accounting for additional customers. So that's kind of that's we're not really able to count on that in making that decision now. We have to use the number of users we have at the very least. So we're assuming we don't have a population reduction, but at the same time, minimal population growth. So Now,
When-
obviously, if we have population growth, then it would get better. That number would not happen, it would be lower.
If I may, on these numbers then, so we're looking at, on scenario 3, $16 user fee at 1.65% interest, $21 user fee at 5% interest. Now, does that include infrastructure, pumps, or is that well only? And are you, on that Madison, then you're figuring that by the north tank?
Yes, north tank.
So then the infrastructure, you would be using that north water line, and then you'll be putting valves in to use that only for the west side then? Because that won't be going to the tower, or are you looking at another line coming down through there to feed back to our other tower, or?
So the high pressure zone always is able to feed the low pressure zone. So the west side's always able to feed the east side. The east
Correct.
side's not able to feed the west side.
Correct.
Oh, they can through the booster pumps. So actually it can do both, if it calls for pressure.
But, so then from your north tank, are you gonna run another line back?
No, not at this
Okay.
time. It's all connected already, and so we just use pressure to determine when water flows between zones. And so putting it in the north tank means it's in the system. So it'll get chlorinated up there and it'll get put in the tank.
So you'll have your own pump house there.
Yep,
on the
already.
north tank, and that'll be figured in this number already?
The pump house and the tank are completely out of this. That's all from the grant from Custer County. So that's already
That's independent from wells.
independent.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so you're using the 500,000
Yep.
ARPA money for that?
Yep.
Okay, and so then, on the well, didn't you say then for that Madison that you were at 700 or 800,000? So we would have to use 300,000 of the 2.1 and then the ARPA money to do that Madison? Because didn't you say the Madison right now would be 800,000
Yeah, that's
by
right.
itself?
That's right.
And then, so you'd use the 500,000 ARPA plus 300,000 of the DA&R money at the 1.65 to do that project now.
Yeah, well, yeah, we'd use the entire, it's 2.23 from DA&R's 1.65% interest loan. We'd use that to do the Madison well and all the improvements that are
The
needed,
WRT
including a small
The
WRT for the,
booster.
yep, yep.
But if you do the Madison, then are you going to increase the WRT to handle all 3 wells?
No, because the Madison won't need a WRT. There's
Okay.
no radium in the Madison.
So it'll handle the 2 wells, the
Yep.
WRT.
Yep, same size, yep.
So the 2.1 will all be used up is what your scenario is.
That's scenario 1, yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And I'm gonna do a little summary here, so while we're switching between scenarios, so like going back to that scenario 4, it's 16 and 15, so $16 per month. Their charge 2025, $15 per month. Their charge 2030. Okay, so then scenario 3 is 16 and 21. Wow. Can't type right now.
Too many fingers.
Start the pressure's on, Anthony. We're all
Alright.
watching you.
Okay, so now let's go to scenario 2. Scenario 2 is doing everything now, but doing a in-your-car well. So that's going to be one surcharge of 24.
It's 24.
The last one is doing it all right now with Madison. It's 26. Okay,
So 1 and 3 are Madison, 2 and 4 are New Carl? Is that-
Yes, so. Madison now. No. And then this one be, Madison later. So obviously you look at the scenarios 3 and 4, when you add them up, that surcharge total is going to be quite a bit more. You're at for a Madison later, you're at $37, and for an Inya car later, you're at 31.
And all these are based on 0 population growth,
Yes.
but also dependent on no population decrease,
Yes.
and all based off of all of this being funded by our water customers. Not seeking any alternative ways of,
You mean like developer contributions and stuff? Yeah, so if no growth, then you don't have those tap and benefit fees, right, which are developer contributions. So those are zeroed out.
Yeah, it's basically worst case scenario.
Mhm.
which is probably the best thing for us to be looking at.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. No, this is what you wanna look at, and then know that it can only get better,
Mhm.
you know?
So,
Yeah,
so if you think about it, at $24 or $26, it's only gonna get better. So that number can only go down based on our developer contributions and additional users.
So now just to propose maybe, all right, so let's look at that. So
Yeah.
if we do this, now that
Mhm.
16 now and the additional later, 16 now, it's a smaller hit now. If things work out in our benefit, then the 21 and 15 could be a lot less.
So, yeah, but for let's say scenario 1 and scenario 3 to be the same, we would need that surcharge in 2030 to be, $11 less, so almost like over 50, like basically 50% less. So that would, equate to that much more population, right? Spread over that many users.
50% more.
And of course, that's ignoring additional operating and maintenance costs, right, for those users.
That's also kind of, I mean,
So they sometimes, when those users come, they come with some cost to maintain them, because like the system in Carriage Hills, it's all our systems, so we'll have hydrants there, we'll have flushing to do, we'll have there's more costs associated with servicing those customers. Billing, there's that much more billing to do. So,
Dan, did you have another?
What I would say is, any times that we went in any of the projects, like right now, it's a no-brainer. The Madison would be the smarter if you're gonna do it right now. But you do not wanna change that to the lower because of the added infrastructure, the added public works, like you say, added billing. You're gonna wanna leave that scenario right there, so that down the road, 5 years, you see where you're at. If you can reduce then, and your public works is leveled out, your infrastructure is leveled out, your billing's leveled out, any of your overhead, because you got your tank, your pumps, everything else that's gonna be on top of that, you don't wanna go dropping it and then realize you gotta come back, because it'll be suicide.
You mean reducing the surcharge if we get a population increase?
You wanna leave it right where it's
Yeah,
at.
right. Yeah. Okay.
could you also add in the volume for each scenario?
volume,
Yeah,
of like flows?
yeah, like what we would be, because there was a difference, right? Some of them
Mhm.
were, because that's also going to affect our potential there, right?
I mean,
These different scenarios have different end results for the GPM, right? Is that what I understand?
yeah, right.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, well, the Madison's supposedly 175, I
Yeah.
think.
So it's
Indian
not,
Care is supposedly 150.
So we're not just looking at how much we're charging the customers per month. We could also, you know, it would be helpful just to see what we're getting, our return on investment as far as GPM, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, so he's adding them all up. For, that would be our total system GPM, and in theory, if
Right.
those wells produce what as the well drillers say that they would. Does anybody else have any comments or questions? I know we're kinda just going over it up here, but feel free to just kinda raise your hand or anything, and if you have any questions or comments or anything, and now's the time, as we got Anthony here and we have the model here, so, Dan?
So then scenario one, are you gonna, what is the final numbers on that then?
26 per month, and just so you realize, so that, like, that's not our rate structure, so it's actually will be less for the residents in town, for example. This is like an average for everyone, so when you go into the rate structure, it'll actually be less for the majority of people, because it's the, because their rate is lower in town than you have out of town, than you have commercial, right? So commercial will be over that, so this is kind of the average. So they'll be under that 26 a month.
Now, there's a lot of people in this town, a crazy number of people I've met that were like, yeah, I was thinking about building a car wash, yeah, I was thinking about that too, I was thinking, but we were told there was not enough water in town. A customer like that changes the game, right?
Oh yeah,
Something
they
like a
use
car
lot of
wash,
water.
using a massive volume of water,
Yep.
consuming that
Yep.
gallon per minute and helping the residential residents
Yep.
suffer less. And I think if we have the volume of water, you'd see a car wash break ground pretty quick if we let them.
Yeah, if you think about like right now, it's a muddy mess,
Yeah.
and then they want to go to Rapid.
hmm Yeah, nobody want, I mean, imagine, oh, I just want my car clean, I don't want the hellscape of Rapid.
Yeah,
Dan?
yeah, I agree.
See, and the thing is we got our 2 wells up, we'd have the volume of water we need. With them too, with the WRT to do what we need to do with our present of where we're at, even with Carriage Hills. The biggest base is, I wish you could stick a budget money out there to appeal that decision to allow us to serve the next out-of-town boundaries.
Thank you for
That
mentioning,
Madison would make the difference then.
I was actually
And
thinking
drilling
about
to
that.
Madison is still a good situation, I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. I just want to thank you for bringing that up. Southern Black Hills can't supply right now, right? They're not prepared?
They will.
Supply what?
They're getting there.
To supply what?
Water, are they prepared
To supply our town?
yeah?
I mean, they have an Enya car well, probably producing similar to our Battle Creek one.
No, they have 3 of them.
Because my curiosity is
There's
what
one
happens
there.
when there's growth
Two.
that comes in here that they can't supply? If that scenario, is that a scenario that could play out?
Yeah, you're gonna get in line, right? You're not gonna have the ability to do anything to change that. You know, you buy a certain number of taps, you're just basically a user, right? So, and they're gonna be capped at the number of taps they have, that they're servicing a much bigger client base, right? So they're serving the rural areas, plus then they wanna make sure they reserve capacity for those areas they're trying to serve and expand to. So they kinda have like a totally different outlook on how they service customers. Right? They're just trying to get them volume of water. They don't really care about pressures or fire flow. They're not required to by law
Yeah,
put out a fire with any of their system.
absurd. Because I was just wondering if we get to the point where we can give water and they can't, how's that going to look? Can we maybe revisit that?
They'll muddle along with what they got. Is what
It's
they'll do.
unfortunate that
And
we
say,
had
"Sorry, we
to
can't
the
help
ground before they did. And that's why we wanted that brought out in a lawsuit, that we could service before they could. But like Cal said,
Fair.
they're coming hard.
Trying, right?
So there you go. You get to see like now, like if we do the before, like now and later, then it's 160 now, because we'd be putting the well number 2 back in service, that one on the top of the hill, no matter what. So we get that 160 now, and it's treated with a WRT, and then we get either the 150 later or the 175 later by doing those wells later.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting between 3 and 1. If we do everything right now, it's only a $5 difference between the first surcharge, or no, never mind, that's a 2031. It's a $10 difference then. Yeah. Then we get everything done now.
Cost of money.
Yeah, well, and that also assumes that we can get a 5% loan for this. You know, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's not like optimistic, but it's not, I think, conservative either. It's somewhere in the middle.
yeah, I mean, it's a somewhat safe bet. But,
Yeah,
I mean, there's still some uncertainty.
yeah. We are a municipality, so we usually track under private.
Yeah.
The other side is USDA. If we could get into USDA and they free that money up, you could still fall in that 2% is what they're, I believe, at now, 2 to 2.5. And USDA is very attractive to the municipalities. I know Anthony's very well aware of them too, and they've got good grant where they're usually 30%.
So it goes by median household income, the grant stuff. It gets a lot more competitive when it's free. And so USDA will do like things like 40-year loans as well, so that stretches things out.
As far as the GPM, it's more conservative with the Madison, right? What we're looking at, this is more conservative to where what we could potentially get.
Yeah, that
versus the
Madison
Indian car.
number is we're gonna be over that guaranteed. So
Where the
versus
Indian
Indian
car
car,
is
it's
probably
like
close to what we could expect.
compared to what we already got. So because we've done this before and we had it, and it's almost for sure because the pump's still sitting there that was pumping that well. So
I mean, even at this number, when you,
Yeah.
you know, when you look at GPM versus the cost, they're close. So it almost seems like the Indian car is a dead horse.
the one thing you could say about the would almost be kind of like a quasi scenario 1, scenario 3 would be to apply. I mean, because so there's an application process. So for USDA money. So I would say by the time you get them in here, you get, and there's a window. I think it used to be, I think October was the window for USDA to get in to apply, right? They open the window for application, and so by the time you get to a loan closing, we're probably into the latter part of 2026, I would say. So, and I would have to check with the regional office on what we can expect today or in 2026. I mean, that's when the interest rate will be taking effect. So it really is more or less just kind of a tweak on scenario 3, the USDA one,
Yeah.
if you think about it.
Well, very interesting. Does anybody have anything to add or any other questions or anything? Dan?
I know when we looked at the Madison out here and we went to USDA and talked to them, they were at that point 6 to 8 months on their approval. So, and they were then at the same 1.65. So today I don't know where they're at.
So when was that? 22?
Last year,
Or 24? Okay, because I do know that like, so the 1.65 of SRF is 22, and now they're 3.5. So it
that
seems
would've
like
been
those
23.
federal,
I'm sorry, that was 23.
23. So like the federal stuff seems to be like in the, like, it's tracking a year or two behind. So like, you know, we had in the private sector, like really low loans, everybody wanted you to refinance and calling all the time. Yeah, that went away, right? So like, they still have like residual like impact of that low interest rate back in 22, 23. So now they're coming back to what we are. And so they're also gonna track late when our interest rates in the private market go down. They'll track at a higher rate because it's all appropriation money from a year or two in the past. So,
What's your favorite and what's your least favorite?
so talking about wells, I really feel that as an engineer, I'm all about redundancy. And so everything we do, we want two of, right? If we can have it, so there's not a failure. And if you have two aquifers in which you're tapping into, you have like the best redundancy possible. Because if you had issues in the Inyacara, you had other people impacting you, you got that other one in the Madison, right? Versus if we put all our eggs in the Inyacara and something happens in that aquifer, and that's why DANR always tries to discourage you from it, because they can't promise anything, right? So they'll let you do it if you can make the case. And in our case, I think when I first introduced it, it made sense if we were just taking our existing water rights permit and doing that. But the state no longer allows water rights permits to be that 20-year period. They enforce the 5-year and 7-year rule. So it basically means you're rewriting it, right? So if you're rewriting it, that changes the dynamic of things now. The ease and complexity goes away, and lack of complexity goes away when you're going back to the water rights department, right? And then the third aspect of it is, and in Inyacara, you have rural water around us, they have Inyacara wells, and everybody has a right to protest.
Mm-hmm.
Now, does that mean the protest will be listened to or action will be taken? No, you make a comment back to them, like, your protest, we heard your protest and we understand whatever you're laying out, but we assure you that those things won't happen. Like, we're not going to impact each other's wells, we won't draw more contaminants in because we're pumping and they're pumping, but those things will come into play when we write a permit for that and they do the public announcement. Now, if we do that in the Madison well, they're not in the Madison. I mean, the nearest Madison's miles from here, I would think. So nobody's impacting anybody else. We're on our own. We're in our own aquifer, and we've got a geological report from Keller that his geologist did, saying that the temperatures they're not going to even go over 80. They're probably going to be quite a bit less. So
we're kind of lucky in where we're at in the Madison.
yes, we were worried about the hot water, but that seems to be more prevalent as you go north and east towards Wall.
Interesting.
Sound good?
You have any questions, Donna?
Mm-mm.
All right, well,
There's none to me.
all right, well, I tell you what, if nobody has any other questions or anything, then I think we can move on, but I want to thank Anthony for coming in and putting these models together, and Terry for doing that too. And I mean, we're going to visit this again, I'm sure, but this was very good to take a look at it, just to see where we would be as far as surcharges go and everything, and get a good idea of what we may be dealing with. So, Dan, do you have something to add?
One more, just to clarify to make sure I've got it all right. So with the 26 a month, that will include the booster, the
Yep.
WRT, the tower, the pump house by the north tower, the infrastructure, everything that's needed
Yep.
to bring us up to date.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, well, thanks, Anthony.
Sounds good.
All righty, folks. We'll move on to the vendor permits, which y'all came here to see, right?
Drop that
Anyway.
date. When do you need our answer?
It's more the schedule of the driller.
Yeah.
So I would just for him. As soon as we feel like spring is sprung, we need to have an answer. So we get in the schedule. Because
All right.
otherwise he'll start filling it up
Yeah.
with other people. Gotta pay his bills.
Yeah.
All righty, folks.
Thanks, Anthony.
Thanks, Anthony. Thanks, Terry. Oh, she gone already?
And she went to office.
Okay. All righty, well, I guess we'll let Jill begin the discussion on this and let us know what she found. And
Okay, so I did print out some fees that other towns are charging.
Good.
Here's another
What
one.
I'd like to do, and I talked a little
Yeah,
bit
just-
about, with Aaron about
Nate,
this
you
this
guys want
morning.
one?
You got that one, right?
I got one.
There's another one.
I would like us to possibly come up with, just separate these out for private property and public property. If someone wants to do some type of booth, like selling t-shirts or something, out in our parking lot, that would be public property, and we would make them get a vendor's permit. The other part of that is the peddler's application. If someone was to be walking around town selling stuff door to door, I would want them to fill out this application because they would be on public property. I would like to waive, and with the food trucks, the same scenario. I would like anything on private property just to waive the fee. There is no fee for any vendor trucks on private property. If someone wanted to put a food truck out here in the parking lot, then we would require them to come in and get the vendor's permit and show their liability insurance and whatnot because it's on public property. I would also like to possibly the special event application, maybe just put that on the back burner for now because we really don't have any special events planned that are going to be on public property. Dan Martin came in the other day and mentioned to me that Hermosa Connects, their vendor fair they have every year, they are possibly thinking about moving it to the fairgrounds, which would be in town, and we've never made anyone at the fairgrounds ever get a vendor's permit for anything. But the sales tax would still be in the town limits, but it would be on the fairgrounds property.
Does the fair board have them get permits for the fairgrounds?
I don't know what they do on that end, but since I've been here, we've never made any of the food trucks at the fair come through us to get anything. That just goes all through.
I suppose we don't know if they pay their sales tax then either.
No, we don't, but
It kind of sounds like the fair board does more of an overall approval for the organization to use the fairgrounds, and then they're kind of hands off at that point. So like Hermosa Connects essentially is getting permission from the fairground, but the fair board isn't interacting directly with the vendors. Is kind of the impression I got.
So hold on, so Hermosa Connects is like the
The organizer, right?
main organizer for the fairground?
no,
For the vendor
no, for
fair.
that vendors fair that we've had for the last 2 years that they started. The
Yeah.
first year they had it over at the community center, and then the next
I
year,
see.
last year they moved it out to the senior center. And I don't know this for sure, it was just Dan Martin visiting with me.
I asked some fair board members. That it seems to be. They're not like 100% fixed, but
Okay.
they're
okay.
looking at that and largely to avoid vendor fees.
Okay, Deb, did you have
Well, I
a,
was just gonna ask Aaron if he could talk up a little bit so we, because I
Oh,
really
sorry.
can't hardly hear you back
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, no, it just seems to be the general consensus from people on the fairground board. Oh boy, that I've talked to, that it's not finalized, but Hermosa Connects is definitely leaning toward using the fairgrounds for the vendor fair. And the fair board is basically communicating with Hermosa Connects, not the vendors directly, is the impression I have. So the vendors are still being organized by Hermosa Connects.
Correct.
okay, so,
Just one thing, I don't know if, just a thought, like right now we haven't really, like this is kind of the only public property we would think about, right? Like the parking lot out here. But someday down the road, should we shut down public streets and have vendors?
Public streets, and if vendors
Things like-
wanted to be out there,
Then this
we
would
just
apply,
want
yeah.
to cover us liability insurance wise if something was to happen on the public property. But if it's on private property, I say they're no fee, or they don't even need to come in and get a permit through us.
yeah, I guess that makes sense to me. Is that how it is now with the private property or
No,
no?
in the packet. I had the old one in there.
Is it the transient vendor and peddlers application?
Yes, that's all that we've ever had is just this document, is what we've used before.
Okay.
So we didn't break it out into food trucks, food and beverage trucks.
I like that, having it.
Yeah, I noticed a lot of towns broke it into, they did the food and beverage separate from just someone setting up like selling t-shirts out of something or,
Yeah.
and I don't know if anyone in the audience has any comments.
I have a question on the
Yes.
other town, is that, it doesn't say either way, is that private property or public property? Is that like in parks, like in Hot Springs, is that a charge for using the park? Or is that for private property?
I didn't really get that information, but I'm thinking that it's probably public property.
Do you guys have any comments or anything? I know you guys do a lot of vendor type stuff, right?
Yeah, I'll be honest, if we have to pay the $50 fee plus charge what we pay, we won't have a vendor fair. It just won't happen. Our vendors can't afford to pay that much and come down here. They like to come down here, but what we already charge them is it's enough, but it's not so much where they won't come. So if we have to do any more, we can't make any money, and then they just won't come. It won't happen.
Okay.
And that's not a threat or anything. It's just what they told us when we talked to them and just said, you know, what do you guys pay in other places when they go there? Like, I know one vendor we talked to, visit a little bit, they go to a place and they find out how much it is, they don't go back. Just because they can't make any money, and you just start eating into that profit pretty quickly.
So you guys would be private though, because you're running the
Yep.
community center, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So they'd never have to worry about it again. And like a lot of, they're selling like crocheted stuff and things they make.
Grandma's trying to make an extra $1.
If that, I mean, a lot of these folks are doing it just to get out of the house for the day and go meet people and maybe try to start a business or something, but it's a hobby for,
Yeah.
my father did it for 20 years selling spiced dips and never made $1, but he just wanted to be out there with the people. That's,
Like I've said a few weeks ago when this first started coming up, I have ran vendors on private property, I've ran vendors on public property. I've done it through my business, I've done a vendor fair, and I've been in different vendor fairs. Let's say the private property wants to charge us $20 for the whole event for our area, great. We shouldn't have to worry about getting charged double for anything. Even if it's on public, then that's for the main person who is putting it together to deal with that. But if I was a vendor out here doing crochet hankies or something like that, I'm not gonna get charged $20 for my 10 by 10 and then have to come here and get charged $50 on top of that because I'm here. Because I would never go, never do that. So we need to establish that if it's on public, it needs to be a one fee for one thing, not 2 fees, because no vendor's gonna come pay 2 fees, never.
what are your thoughts on, so she differentiated between special events, mobile food, and then like transient. So like a food truck, does that seem like something you've experienced before?
Yes, I mean,
Vending,
we've had food trucks, we've had bands, we've had regular vendors, we've had business vendors. Each thing is kind of individual of what you're doing, but it's all regulated on your size that you need.
Mm.
Like if you are a 10 by 10, it doesn't matter if you're selling gold. You're only using a 10 by 10 spot.
Yeah.
Now if you're food that has power and water and stuff like that, that you need to rent for your vendor thing, then that needs to come into play with a little extra money on top for stuff like that. But otherwise, it shouldn't be like The other thing is like the sales tax, I'm not paying you guys sales tax. That's my job for me to do, my income. You guys come hound me for
Yeah,
sales
we
tax,
don't-
we ain't doing
We
it.
don't need to babysit
So-
everybody if they're paying their sales tax.
Right.
That's their, I mean, we don't have enough manpower to even babysit everybody.
Big thing I always go back to is local businesses too. I mean, you're setting up a street fair, but you're gonna have people who are gonna be, oh, there's a coffee shop right here, there's a grocery store right here, they're gonna be at the corner pantry, they're gonna be,
Yeah, but the thing is, you have a gas station there and you have a gas station there. You're comparing apples to oranges.
no, I mean, like the vendor fairs just draw more people in the area.
Yeah, but
and
I
then the local
mean,
businesses
so what
pick it
if
up.
one day there's someone selling coffee and they're 10 by 10 and across from the coffee shop? Who cares?
Oh, no, I'm not worried
Yeah.
about them competing, I mean,
Right.
just the general drawing more volume of people
Right,
into the town.
Right.
Yeah, getting eyeballs on the different businesses
Bring-
that may not have
each
seen it
vendor thing
before.
brings people in. There's a reason why you don't have vendor fairs every week either.
Yeah, I like the idea of not doing the fees for private property, letting the property owners figure out how they wanna do it and everything like that. I think that's a good idea. So as far as public property stuff goes, do you guys have any input on that? I know when we're looking at some of these, they do like, New Underwood does $100 a year, Brookings does $100 a year. Looks like the Brookings one is for a food truck, and the New Underwood is food vendors, which could also be trucks, I suppose. What do you guys think about that?
It seems
Like
like a
a
pattern.
yearly, like $100 a year, whatever it is?
And then they can participate in as many
Things as-
Yeah.
things they want
Yeah,
for that year. I think that's fine.
yeah, okay.
That's understandable. It's just not every single time you want to charge me $100 when they might sell 4 tacos and.
Right.
So
not
we're
make
just
it,
talking
you
about
know?
the $100 if they happen to be on public property. We're still gonna waive if they're on private property.
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
yeah. Yeah, we shifted gears to the public property side now.
Okay.
So, I mean, and really, the purpose of the permits is kind of to know who's there, but it's really to kind of give us a means by which, if there's somebody selling stuff that's unauthorized or whatever, then it gives us
Yeah.
a means to kind of shoo
Well, I
them
talked
along.
to
or-
Jerry, our insurance guy,
Okay,
and part of the thing on the public property where we want to cover and make sure a food truck get the liability insurance, if their canopy breaks off and stabs somebody and kills them and it happens to be on Hermosa property, we need to cover us, make sure that they have their liability insurance, because the person that is going to come after the town of Hermosa.
Mhm.
If it's on private property, that's the private property owner's problem, you know? It doesn't have anything to do with the town.
so basically part of the permitting process is also us getting that information from them and putting it on file for
That
us.
they have
that
the
the-
liability insurance, correct?
Okay, so then after they do the permit, then like probably you or Terry or somebody will have to go and verify that too, so it's extra work that you guys have to do on top of that, or?
The one food vendor that I had came in with just a notebook and he handed me everything stapled together with I didn't have to do any research. They just gave me all the information right up front.
Tom Manning
Okay.
is-
They're probably used to it, right?
Yeah,
Well,
he evidently had been several, so he knew what the ropes were.
Yeah,
Who is going to need to have this liability though? It can't be every vendor because grandma doing shawls is not gonna go out and pull out a
So,
liability
how
insurance
often
claim
is-
for
are
it.
This
we
is only
gonna-
public property.
Yeah, I know, but if grandma wants to come here and sell shawls, is she gonna need to have liability for her 10 by 10? And
If her table blows into the road and somebody gets in a car accident, I guess I don't know, I'm just looking at the insurance
I
side.
mean, that's kind of the differentiator between the private and the public is
Right.
we gotta cover ourselves.
Yeah,
And so they're gonna have to have liability insurance and also whatever the fee is and whatever the period that the fee is too also kind of adds another layer of responsibility for that person, you know what I mean? So if somebody doesn't have a problem paying whatever that fee is, then likely they won't have a problem paying that liability too. But if somebody who's a smaller vendor like the person you're talking about, they may want to stick more to the private side of things,
Right.
you know, and they can do their things there, whereas the public side, I mean, it sounds to me like it's the main issue with this is the insurance and the liability. And so, you know, obviously, like Jill mentioned already, if the vendor fair or whatever you guys want to call it is on the private side, then that's all under their umbrella.
Right.
But when it's under our umbrella, we need to cover ourselves in some way. And so I think that's kind of the crux of the whole issue,
Okay.
you know, and also you know, so basically the fee is not really meant to be hard for people to pay per se. It's just supposed to be there so that we can kind of weed out the people that are likely more responsible than others, or how would you say that, Jill?
I
don't know if
would
that's the
say
right
that,
way to
and
say
I
that.
don't know, I've been here almost 5 years, if we've ever, we didn't break it out private and public, but I'm trying to think of anyone who's actually ever even set up on public property.
Right, yeah.
We had somebody selling t-shirts up at the corner pantry, that's private property. No one's ever asked to set up on a public spot, so.
The only time I would have thought would be like when the vendor fair last year, the food trucks along the road, that'd be questionable.
Yeah.
It was on public, I mean, depending where they parked, you could argue that
Yeah.
was close enough to public property, that could be one of those areas where they're right next to the road like that. Or the road was shut off, people were walking.
Right.
That's what I'm thinking. If as this thing moves along over the next few years, if it gets to the point where there's events that we're shutting down streets and people are, I mean, my hometown, there would be 3/4 of a mile vendors the whole way.
Yeah, we just always wanna, if something happens with the food truck, something flies off of it, the propane tank blows up, I don't know, and if it's on our property,
I'd say if it's on the road, it's public.
yes.
If it's
On
off the
the
road,
road, it's
it's-
private.
it's private.
Private.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, we're likely not gonna shut down the highway, I don't think we can, cause that's DOT anyways. But that would that be on them or on us?
Well, and we just, what they're referencing is when they were on Second Street,
Second,
and that right of way goes clear back to the meter pits, so to get on private, you got quite a chunk there to get over onto private. The alley was likewise, that's public, that's 20 foot wide, so that's all public. So to stay onto the private, DOT will never allow, other than a parade or special event like that that's only temporary, they won't allow any parking.
okay. Okay, well, do you all have like a suggestion on, so like $100 a year, does that sound okay to you? Should it be more, should it be less, should it be per event, or do you guys have any ideas on that?
We've never had a public let's pick $100 and we can always adjust it later.
Yeah, my
We've
thing
never
is
had-
like, how many events are there in Hermosa a year
I know.
for vendors? I mean, if there's only 1 or 2 a year, I would say $50 a year. Just because there's only 1 or 2 options for them to do anything. Now, if you're doing a vendor fair every single month of the warm weather, probably 100, because then you're getting 4 or 5, maybe 6 different shows.
There are probably 3 planned for this summer, 2, 3 planned for the summer so far. You've got
I
one
would go probably 50 to
at the,
It'd be the only one
75
that,
bucks and maybe.
the vendor fair that we do would be on private property. I don't think there'd be anything public that I know of, unless they block off the Second Street here.
well, I'm just thinking to the extent that it might
Yeah.
expand to where people are like, well,
Right
I'm
now,
coming
we're
too and
just 1
set
or
my
2 a
food truck.
year.
Well, if right now, if they've all been basically on private property, I wouldn't even worry about it right now. Now, if Hermosa starts growing like we're expecting it to and getting more things and building and people are starting to want to go on public property, then I would revisit this and be like, okay, we need to set this up.
Well, we kind of always have to have something.
Right.
Yeah.
I'd probably start out at $50 a year until you start seeing things grow.
So 50 for a year for now, if it's on public property for mobile food truck or a vendor that would set up somewhere if they.
Well, so we got different sheets now, right? So we've got special, that's, all right. So
And I say we just put omit it for now, just take it off is the special event application for now. Because,
This one, just,
yes, that would be like for a whole event that would be all on public property, and I don't see that happening right now. Especially if Hermosa Connects is gonna be using the fairgrounds. If they're gonna do the summer nights thing, that's gonna be on private property.
The form is a good form, though. The special event form is a good form. Definitely something to be good to have on file and ready.
Oh, yeah.
so I can already say food truck. Yeah, 100 a year for the food trucks. Is that fair? I mean, it
Yeah.
seems to be kind of the common.
I mean, if they pull up down at the baseball games or something, they'll get a few of those a year. I mean,
Right.
maybe they can even park on the street up there for the basketball games too. I mean,
Well, I think
People are
100
inside,
a
but-
year for a food truck is great.
$100 a year?
Yeah.
That's really
Just
good,
for the
right?
fact of because it's a food truck, they're definitely pulling that in every,
If it's
Event.
tacos.
But as far as the transient, 50, it almost feels like 50 might still be steep for somebody who's selling their knickknacks.
yeah, but the thing is most vendor
But if we make it for the
shows-
whole year,
Yeah,
So 50 a year for that as well?
it's renewable every year. If you're gonna be on
like
public.
when I was in California doing a summer night thing for the city, I was charged $75 for the 4 nights. And I was willing to pay that because I knew I was bringing it in. But if you go to the Bay, it's $250 a night. So it kind of depends on where you are. Like in Rapid, you can easily get away with $50, $75 a day vendor fee. Now Hermosa, you might be looking at $20, $25 a day is gonna be top for someone to do because you're not getting the people like you would in a bigger area.
yeah, no, I like that. I think, so, $50 a year for the transient / peddlers. Is that what we call them?
Yes.
Is there another term that we tack on there too? Or does that encompass all of the smaller ones?
Yeah, I think it does. I will just, on the transient vendor, the peddler one, I'm gonna take out the line that says the location of the structure must be on private property. I'm gonna take that out of there.
Oh, yeah.
And the line below that, I'm gonna take that out of there. And on the mobile food one, I'm gonna take off the location, private, industrial, public property, because we don't care if it's on private property, they're not even gonna fill one out.
Mhm.
So that line's gonna come off of there, and permission granted from commercial property owner, yes or no. We don't care about the private commercial property owner. I'm gonna take that line out of there also.
I have a question. Are we gonna update the ordinance to clearly state that this is for, these permits are for public property? Because in their ordinance, it's not very clear, I would say. Even if you remove it there, I think it needs to be clear, these forms, fill out these forms for public property, vendor fees, or whatever you wanna call it. Just to make it more clear, because I have read through that, it's not very clear.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Yeah, that's something we'll have to do too. So we gotta update these sheets, update the ordinances, decide on the amounts. I think we've got a good start on that. As far as 50 a year for the peddlers and 100 a year for the food trucks or beverages. So, Update ordinances, update the sheets. So we'll have to look at that. I wonder if Neil could do that real fast.
It's 50, we were saying 50 a year for the peddlers, the transient vendor peddlers. Should we do 50 a year, 20 a day? Like if they're only here for one day, 20? Or is it just 50 a year?
Why are you looking at me?
Or just in general, 50? And again, this is very, well, we can just keep it simple 50 a year because it's going to be very rare situations where we
I
have.
would just keep it
public.
simple. I'm
Yeah.
gonna be adding on more and more.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you know, maybe a couple of people that paid 50 a year will get together and organize their own fair and piggyback off of his event, but they're on the public side and they're on the private side or something, you know. I mean, who knows what would happen, but Dan, did you have a comment?
Yeah, and for updating the ordinance, Jill can change the wording and then Kent can review it. and-
I do have some ordinances I printed out for that, like spearfish and actually custard.
Oh, okay, would you wanna
Sure. I
look
can-
at doing that? And
She's
then,
doing all of the permits, she's gonna make it mirror the ordinance. And then all Kent's gotta do is make sure the legal portion of it is in there and we're done.
Okay, you can do that.
very nice.
Just wanted to add another comment on the sales tax. The South Dakota Revenue is very, very good about contacting us when they see there's a vendor fair on our Facebook page. And they ensure we get the form to give it to everybody, so. So we do give it to them, and most of them already have a sales tax license, so they do pay. So at least the town is benefiting from when we do bring people in.
Sure, yeah. Well, and you know, the thing is, I think it's a good idea for the town to kind of get out of your way and let you guys run your show. And, I mean, you guys need people to come in, so if we're inadvertently chasing people away with this
Nobody
type of
wins.
fee structure,
Yeah, we're
nobody
not
wins.
making all of our money here in town on vendor permits.
I know,
Right.
I know.
Well, the fireworks we probably get more sales tax from the fireworks than
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
would think than most of our
Oh,
vendor
sure.
fees
yeah.
that
Yeah.
we charge throughout the year.
And we're hoping to be bigger this year, but we had to see how the vendor fee is, and, cause it does eat into it pretty quickly. And you
Yeah.
start-
So with the fireworks, he's gonna do it again this year, that's just gonna be waived, right? It's on private property. We'll get the sales tax off of it, but
Yeah, I
we're
mean,
not,
it, as long as the board agrees with doing it that way, I mean, we'll have the, sample sheet that you make up and then the ordinance and stuff like that. We could do it as a package deal on the
Okay.
agenda.
We'll still have to make a motion on this next meeting, right?
Well, when yeah,
When she's
yeah, right.
done.
Big enough.
Yeah, well, I mean, we could
I
do
don't know if
it.
I'll have it done by this Friday, because,
Well, we could do it as a board directive for, this is the direction that we want to proceed. Jill, can you please work on the specifics on it? And then once she's done, then we can adopt the specifics too. So then we can at least put, for them, they can point to the minutes and say, look, they got rid of this stuff for us. So now,
Or it's in the process of, yeah.
right, but I mean, doing the directive is basically saying that we're doing that now, and then we'll just do the housekeeping on the back end to make it final and official. That's what I think. Does that sound like a good idea to y'all?
Y'all.
Y'all?
Y'all.
what do you think? Nobody cares what you
I
think.
didn't know
can
you
do
all
it.
was from us anyhow.
How do you say it around here?
You all.
I say y'all.
Okay,
Y'all
All
come
right.
back down here.
let's end it. I'm done.
Yeah, done is done. I guess we gotta end it. Okay, one last call for questions, comments on this one? No, okay.
Thanks for coming.
Yep, any items from citizens you guys wanna bring up while we're here?
Good job. You guys did a good act tonight, so.
Thank you. Mark, you don't have anything?
No, I'm quiet tonight.
Very
He's
good.
saving it for Tuesday.
All right, perfect. Any trustee input, Aaron?
Do you like fireworks or?
Well, this is probably enough. So just to point the media, the Hermosa media policy.
All towns actually.
Hey, we're gonna do trustee input real fast and we'll finish up.
There is some lack of clarity with this. I mean, when we went over this last time, I asked to split it into two motions because I kind of felt like this is something felt like we were going to be revisiting, and I think this document does need a relook.
What are you
And,
talking about, what document?
The media, Town of Hermosa media
I thought we
policy.
weren't talking about that tonight.
It's trustee input. I can.
Yeah, he's doing this is his input.
Yeah. So no, I just because next meeting we'll hash into it, but.
All right.
If you want to take a look at it and so you can work on developing
Mhm.
thoughts on it. But it's pretty much,
Do you want me to email it to
it's very
everybody so you have
bland.
it?
Yeah, it's just, all it says is employees, but as far as I know, there are only 2 town employees. Does it apply to anybody
There
else?
is only
If so, then
one
how does it?
employee.
Jill and,
There is no town employee, there is no town employees.
so then this document's basically applied to nobody, because that's what it says, is it
Yeah,
applies to
we don't have any
employees.
town employees, other than Linda, I suppose, is Linda and,
What about Jill and
Jill
Terry?
and Terry are
And
employees
we're
of the
technically
town.
employed by the town
yeah,
too.
but
Well, that's where it gets weird, is a board member
Okay.
an employee? But, yeah.
All right, Donna, did you have any input?
no, I'm ready to go home.
Okay, let me see.
Oh, don't stretch it.
Okay, yeah, I don't have any input. I appreciate you all coming out and giving us feedback and some good ideas, because I know I don't have any experience in this realm, and you know, I do want to see the town get out of your guys' way and let you guys grow and flourish in the way that you need to, and you know, I mean, that's kind of I mean, nobody likes when the government oversteps, so, you know, anyways. So I guess that's it. So, guess I'll adjourn this work session
I
at,
make a motion, this meeting is adjourned.
we don't need to do motions, at,
Oh,
7:12.
oh, just turned 7:12, I was gonna say 7:11.
There we go.
Well, that's
That one right
why, that's
there.
why I had to wait, Donna. There you go. Alrighty.
Yeah,
Very good.
Right after that, we
Short and
did fight
sweet.
over
Yeah.
for 9 to 10 days.
So sorry, Donna, we didn't get out of here by 7 like you wanted.
huh?
Sorry, we didn't get out of here by 7.
That's all right, you're close enough. At least it's not 9.
Or 10:48.
Yeah, all right.
Get my guitar practice in for the night.
There you go. Better do it.
It looks familiar, but I wasn't quite sure where, because I see enough people.
I'm still having surgeries, honestly, so it's, I was gonna go because we were going to.
Good girl.
All happy with everything?
Surgery, I'm not going. So I'm glad that it says Dane's Way, because
I can make some of that.
I'm in here.
Tables and stuff like that.
Leave it to you.
So when they approve that, I'm like.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
I'm like, I don't want to stiff people, but yet it needs to be.
Right,
I'm
because
not
like,
gonna pay $20 to rent it for my head and then have to pay them.
yeah, we charged 25, I think, last year.
Right.
So they have
And that's, I mean, yeah. And then I think the second table we did 15, if you really want it bigger.
Right.
We're not trying to cover some of our costs.
And that's why I try to tell them, I said, you know, in the small towns, I pay $25 for my
Well,
$10.
and they compare it to Keystone, like, thousands of people come to Keystone.
And that's why I said, now if you go to the Bay, I was paying $250
Yeah,
a
we
day.
did, so this made the county be active.
People, that was.
So you
tourists and, you know,
Yeah.
So
have
it's better
people.
than
Do you
the town
still sell them,
broke.
or do you still do them?
Trying to keep a budget, or they want
When I make that insurance, so, I mean, it's been, I love crafting and do Donna and kids and see all the things I do paintings now and
Do you need a table then in June?
I might, but just for the fact of it, but I can't pinpoint one thing, because I'm crafting. So
doesn't
one
matter.
minute I'm doing meat, so the next minute I'm
It
doing
doesn't
glass.
matter, bring all your stuff and sell it. 'Cause there's people that have, they're like, there's one gal that brought a bunch of food and they brought a bunch of other stuff.
Kids.
One had antique.
The bar is
Well,
closed.
and I probably will.
People want
Just because that's
variety.
what-
Or it'll be open as soon as you get home.
But if you ever need.
I got cold beer on the fridge
That's the win-win.
every day when I think
I
this
have a side yard and a front
So you're gonna
yard.
have to flash your lights now.
Okay.
Y'all can park there, do whatever you want. And I brought it to my husband, I said, if I'm gonna include this,
Yeah.
Oh, he's talking.
you're not gonna come behind me. I'm gonna yard sale in my own yard, you
What,
know.
what's your number and I'll send you our contact.
Area code is 801.
It's a lot here, you wanna go home, Joe?
3902.
Don't forget your work orders.
Yep, and it's Tammy, T-A-M-I.
Okay. I'll just text you, you can respond.
Okay.
Don't lose them.
But yeah, no, I'd probably do it just because.
There, a number was transposed.
I just threw
That
away
Linda
artwork
did,
today
and when you
because I
came
had
in,
no place for it, and
I
I
found
wanted-
it right
Yeah,
away,
it's
when
in
I
the
finally
garbage.
looked at your sticky
And
notes.
see, I've been doing
Yeah,
like,
so he
I've
was
been making
good.
these for Valentine's.
Yeah, with that many digits in it, that one
Not one
number,
person bought one, so now they're just
she
sitting.
had it as a
You
nine, so
said your
it's
name is
a
Tammy?
four.
Tammy. Yep.
I'm
Yeah.
Wayne,
Okay.
and this is Nick, my son.
Okay.
Thank you, Joe.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for letting me, be a voice of the town.
Well, hopefully I was a voice.
No, you're good.
Because, well, the, some have got wheels on it, but they don't rotate.
They don't really roll, it doesn't look like you.
I don't know, I could really mad or stupid.